on to the latest developments coming in from the Iran war now. Iran has launched repeated missile and drone strikes on Dubai and the UAE since the conflict began. On the very first day, Iranian drones struck near the Fairmont The Palm Hotel on Palm Jumeirah, causing a large fire and injuring several people. Debris from the intercepted projectiles also sparked flames at the iconic Burj Al Arab Hotel. In early March, explosions rocked Dubai International Airport, injuring staff and forcing a temporary evacuation. Multiple barrages followed, with at least 5 major explosions reported in the city on March 31. Speaking of that, let's now take a look at some Iranian strikes on other GCC nations in the past 24 hours. All right, viewers, let's take a look at the strikes on the GCC country. UAE air defenses have intercepted 18 ballistic missiles, 4 cruise missiles and 47 drones in the Gulf countries. Falling debris has caused damage to buildings, including the facade of an Oracle facility in Dubai Internet City and areas near the Dubai Marina. That happened on April 3rd, and those are the visuals on your screens where you can clearly see the strikes and the impact that they caused. Let's now move on to what happened in Kuwait. Kuwait has been repeatedly struck. On the 3rd of April, Iranian drones struck a military camp, injuring at least 10 soldiers there and destroying a US Chinook helicopter as well. All right, let's move on now to Bahrain, where on April 3rd again the country intercepted several drones and ballistic missiles, and one strike hit an unspecified company building as well in Kuwait, in addition to other, in Bahrain, beg your pardon, in addition to the other losses, including that at the US 5th Naval Fleet. Let's move on to the next plate. We're looking now at Saudi Arabia, where once again on the 3rd of April, successfully the country intercepted a ballistic missile targeting the eastern province, along with multiple drones that were also intercepted in Saudi Arabia on the 3rd of April yesterday. Now looking at Qatar, again yesterday it successfully intercepted a ballistic missile that was targeting the eastern province along with multiple other drones. So the Gulf countries are now in action mode, activated their air defenses as the strikes continue to rain in from Iran. This is the visual that we are showing you from the skies of Dubai as it successfully intercepted a ballistic missile targeting the eastern province along with multiple other drone targets as well. So those are the attempts, the interceptions that we are reporting from the Gulf countries. Let's now in fact go across to my colleagues, and in fact before that I'm joined by a panel of retired Major General Sudhakarji, our defense expert, and we also have Sanjeev Srivastav, our foreign affairs expert, in the discussion. I'm also in fact joined in by Mitali Nikore, senior economist, but I'll first come to General Sudhakar, looking at the losses that we are reporting from the Gulf countries and the manner in which they have been able to intercept the strikes and report now in the war. What is your reading into what's next for these Gulf states, whether the pressure that they have on Donald Trump is going to yield, or whether Trump, like you were talking about, the escalation entrapment, the term that we heard from you this morning, whether that's going to be the status quo, and also take into account, General, the fact that about $120 billion to $200 billion of Arab countries may have been wiped out in this conflict.
Yeah, Kriti, good afternoon. Thank you for getting me to your show. We discussed a couple of issues in the morning show of yours, and we forgot to cover one important aspect. That is, amidst the ongoing conflict, generally it doesn't happen. The head of an organization, chief of the army staff of USA,
Yes.
has been asked to put up his resignation by the defense secretary. This is a clear indication. It's a clear indication that things are not normal. And to my wild guess, perhaps he's the one who's been opposing to any kind of further escalation by United States in the ongoing conflict. And also be mindful of the fact that a couple of days back, the head of counter-terrorism, Mr. Kent,
Yes.
he also had put up his resignation. So each of these milestones, they collectively, if you put, and yesterday I believe the Attorney General or somebody has been sacked. They've been
Yes.
asked to put up papers. So these kind of removals, when the conflict is on, it is indicative of a fact that USA decision-making authority, there are fractures. And so that is one part I wanted to highlight. Second part is the consequences. The answer to your question, I would put it very briefly, is the cost and consequences of every activity taking place. Because to one attack by USA or Israel against Iran is being meted with a suitable, appropriate response of retaliation. Now, this is going to be a ding dong battle without any victors or any winners on either side, and it will carry on, to my understanding, till the exhaustion status is reached, till both the stakeholders they reach a point of exhaustion. Because I don't think, as per my assessment and based on my experience, there will be any kind of winners in the ongoing conflict. And your pointed question is about the response matrix of the United States. Is it going to make any impact in the decision making of Donald Trump? What is the impact we are looking at? We are looking at Donald Trump is actually struggling to have some kind of a dignified, honorable exit, which is not available. That is why I had used this term called as escalation entrapment. And this entrapment is further leading to dependency, enhancing the dependency on China, which is sitting tight on almost all the magnets that they produce, which are required for different actuators. You have a fire control system, you have the fin stabilizer, or anything, even the missiles itself. There is a huge quantum of critical technology and minerals required to produce all the state of the art equipment. Today, as we are talking, Kriti, the strategic reserve of United States of America has fallen down. If they are supposed to maintain X percentage, it has fallen down by one third. It is below the one third permissible limit. That is why there is so much of rumor, there is so much of fault lines, there is so much of contestation within the decision making process in the United States, and one after another heads are rolling. It's a very dangerous sign, and it will lead to lots of bloodbath taking place in the Iran. And the first encounter of the boots on ground, some kind of an experience has begun. That is the rescue mission or the rescue operation to get the pilot who's missing now. And that would lead to some kind of an encounter between IRGC and the special forces of America to find this pilot or the fighter jet officer. It will be a very very difficult order, and they hold lot of meaning and substance. Their military ethos are of very high standard. They cannot let a comrade go away like this in a missing status. Back to you, please.
Yes, Mitali, I want to come to you now over the wipeout of money that has been reported from the Gulf market, about $120 billion. Help us break down this wipeout in the markets, given that it is an investment hub, not just the UAE, but even Saudi Arabia and other Gulf countries. What does it mean broadly for the region and the world?
No, so absolutely. And, I think literally where we are today globally, we have to evaluate this very strategically from an Indian perspective, and we also have to evaluate this very strategically from a global perspective. Because the US has, in one stroke, completely shaken off the responsibility of this crisis from its shoulders. And it has also come out of this situation better than it was. So very honestly, if you think about it, the US is the only economy which has actually experienced a growth increase in this entire 3 to 4 month period.
Yeah.
And in fact, in the last 2 months, the US has actually seen a 0.3% increase in its GDP growth, whereas the rest of the world is suffering. Somebody is suffering with an inflationary spiral, somebody is suffering with a like how in India we are suffering with the backstopping of our LPG and energy supplies. The whole global shipping industry is currently in a crisis where there is not enough fuel available for refueling large freight cargo ships. So the whole global maritime routes are under attack in a way. So, and then the US comes and issues a statement saying, if you want to have your oil, then go and get it. We are not going to fight your battles anymore.
Yeah.
But this is literally a situation that the US created. So, very honestly, the kind of geopolitics and dynamics that are currently playing out for a country like India, we have to definitely wait and watch how this crisis, de-escalates and continue maintaining our good relationships, that we have done through diplomacy and back channel efforts.
Okay, let's also bring in Mr. Srivastav now in the discussion here. Mr. Srivastav,